Okay, questions, please. On the topics we were talking about, or in general, anything regarding meditation, Dhamma, thoughts on life, views on life, whatever you have been thinking, thoughts coming in meditation, things that you agree, things that you don't agree, anything.
I think this afternoon you're going to talk about the mind and how we are actually a prisoner of our mind. So the point of meditation is to free ourselves from the mind.
Yes.
And is it true that the thoughts are really what is the devil, or I mean the most difficult thing is to deal with the thoughts. The thoughts.
The thoughts are the?
I mean, the thoughts are what actually make us unhappy, because they...
No, it's not the thoughts. It's the attachment to thoughts with desire, hate and delusion. It's not the thoughts. It's the attachment towards the thoughts. So the attachment, we create the attachment. If this cup is here, it's just a cup. The thought of a cup with coffee maybe. But here I'm thinking, oh, I love this coffee. This coffee is mine. This coffee is specially made for me. And this is only mine. That's a different thing, you see?
Yeah.
But this was just a coffee cup. That's all it was. That's the thought. Now, with the thought, we create in our mind desire, hate and delusion. That's what is going to cause the suffering. Yes.
I was just wondering how the four things like the body, the thought, and feelings and perception are actually interconnected, because I feel I can perceive things and it will generate feelings. I can feel things and then this generates a thought. Maybe I'm not aware of why I'm feeling angry, and then I'm thinking about it and like, well, this person really annoyed me in a way, so the feeling is even before the thought. I can also have thoughts that generate bad feelings, so it's, and it changes maybe my perception. So in a way, the question is like, where do you start and where do you stop? So I guess as far as I understand it, in a way, it's like analyzing it and trying to stop it at the first place so it doesn't propagate.
Yes.
So if I perceive something and I can let it go before it generates a bad feeling, it's a good thing. If I have the feeling and can let go of the feeling before the negative thinking starts, then...
Yes, because all of these four things definitely has an interconnection. It is to sort of make it clear, make it more clearer that you take the four and put it. That's why the consciousness plays a major part, because it's a consciousness which touches the body. It's through the consciousness that actually we can visibly see things. It's the consciousness that we can actually hear things. Without the consciousness, we don't know anything. We are not consciously aware about anything. So all of these four things connects to consciousness. But it's if I just come here and tell you, okay, consciousness, desire let go of the desire for consciousness, let go of the hate for consciousness, the hateful consciousness, let go of the delusion in the consciousness. It would be very difficult to identify how do you get rid of this? How do you even start? But to make it a little bit more clear, we categorize the consciousness, how consciousness works, in four categories, which is body on body, and feeling as feeling, thoughts as thoughts, and perception as perception. But it's interconnected with consciousness. Consciousness is the base which holds all four. And it's actually What this does is actually trying to identify consciousness. Feed the mind, that part. Remember we spoke about that? Created by the mind to feed the mind. Consciousness is created by the mind to feed the mind again. So this is what you're trying to analyze. Breaking down to 4 parts.
So body as body, feeling as feeling.
Yes, body is just normal body.
Yeah.
But when we have desire to body, it becomes something else. Feeling is just feeling. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. But then we go and add another feeling on top of it, creating desire, hate and delusion. Okay, like that. 2 things, always. Body on body. Feeling as feeling. Thoughts as thoughts. Perception as perception. Yes. Your thoughts, ideas, as questions. A question from me. Now, in meditation, were you able to concentrate and then make this transfer to Vipassana when we were going through the eye, ear, like that? I was reciting this verse. Are you able to concentrate on that? Or you're just making it? Or you can concentrate very well on it? What stage are you in? How are you hearing the words only at the moment? Anything is fine. I'm just trying to guide you from there, that's all.
It was hard for me sometimes this time to concentrate. I think maybe because there's a lot going on right now.
Mm.
But how do you kind of separate, how do you stop the thoughts and just kind of...
Don't try to stop the thoughts. You leave the thoughts as it is.
Okay.
Leave the thoughts. Don't try to stop the thoughts. Stopping the thoughts is one thing. Thoughts are coming in and just let it go by. Just let it pass you. Don't try to hold on. That's the only thing you need to do. Trying to stop the thoughts is a different thing. Letting it pass you by is a completely different thing. Okay? Because if you're trying to stop the thoughts, it gets very difficult. If I tell you concentrate, the last thing that you would do is concentrate. Yeah? So it becomes very difficult. The moment somebody tells you don't do it, you really want to do it and see what it is about. So, something like that. The moment you tell yourself, I don't want to have any thoughts, what you're doing exactly is having different thoughts.
Yeah.
So don't try to do that. Just let it pass by. You're thinking about lunch, let it just pass by. Thinking about dinner, just let it pass by. Thinking about phone calls, whatever thoughts you're having, just let it pass by. Don't start thinking about it. That is only in samatha. Now vipassana is a complete other process. Vipassana, you let the thoughts come by and you see where your thoughts are headed. Why am I thinking this? What do I want from this? What makes me think of this? You know, I'll give you an example. In Australia, when we were doing this meditation, deep, in-depth meditation for about 5 to 6 days, there was this gentleman, can't remember the amount of dates, but anyway, there was this gentleman who was constantly, he'd tell me, Tarini, every time I do the Vipassana, every time you tell me, just let the mind wander. After the samatha session, I tell, okay, let the mind wander now. Just follow your pattern of thoughts. And when he does this, something amazing happens. He always starts thinking about grass. Okay? Just weed and grass. And I told him, there is a story with grass. You say, story with grass? It's not up to me, it's up to you. You need to find what is the story with the grass. Okay? And then he started to do this, and then he came and told me that there is a story with the grass. You know what the story is? Every morning he gets up, right? And he's a person who loves to do gardening and who likes the lawn very beautifully. And in his place, now his house is like this, and the other house is on a higher elevation, okay? And the neighbor's garden is on top, really. And then he keeps this garbage thing close to that. And for the wind, there are different papers, everything which falls into this gentleman's garden all the time. So every morning he goes to the garden, which, things are all over the place. So every time he's cleaning this thing up, he's thinking, why can't he just keep that trash somewhere else? And he has been trying to talk to the neighbor and tell him he does it for some time and then forgets about it and leaves it at the same place. So when this thing keeps dropping in the lawn, basically the grass, right? Every morning he comes with this nice and pure thought, and then when he sees the lawn being with whatever, he gets agitated and anger, and all these things build in him. And through Vipassana, he was actually having the thought of the grass, and that leads actually into a story. So now then what he needed to do was, now he needs to change it. Why the agitation? Why the anger? Why does it lead to things? Because I want my lawn clean. True enough. But then why all these feelings in the same thing? Right? It's like one thing leads to another. That's how Vipassana works. It gets you with a very small thing. But if you really analyze it, it tells a complete different story after that.
It basically also means that, because I think there's such a hype around Vipassana, and a lot of people who really have little experience with meditation, Vipassana is not even the best thing to do, because they should start with being very good at
Samatha. Definitely. But here, what I'm trying to do in the discussions is show the side to Vipassana, that there is a side like this called Vipassana. Because otherwise what happens is we only train people with Samatha, and then they come to this, I've seen many times this happening. We build up to the concentration level in life. Basically, we are just concentrating, and when we are in meditation, we are all fine. But when we come out of meditation and in daily life, we just follow the normal pattern. And then to relax again, we come to Samatha. This keeps going on for a few years. And then suddenly people have this thinking, well, it's the same thing, every day we do this and that's it. And they lose focus and they get into the normal life, and then that overwhelms them, and then they just fall to the normal stream of life. But if somebody knows that yes, you develop yourself from this, and then there is a further step into insight, into wisdom, into realization, maybe that person later on in life, maybe even a couple of years down the line, you try to practice in this way. Because this is which will give you that real realizations, detachment, and the understanding of detachment. And also those questions. It is with these questions that we always try to find out things, isn't it? Because the question has to be raised within us. When this question is raised within us, then we start thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. Why is this? Why is this? then we start to think. When we start to think, we are searching. When we search, one day we might have their answers.
How much do you think in this process is it like, or how do you practice it in a way? Like a lot of stuff that might come up in a way, do you always hope that you understand it by yourself, or do you go out of the meditation say like, it's interesting, it looks to me like this is important and you talk to other people about it? Is like exchange with other practitioners something that is part of the practice in a way to understand yourself better? Or is it something that you reject and say like, well, you have to make sense of it by yourself?
You can take both, really. Well, one way is through the meditations of samatha, you get into the meditations of vipassana, and then there is a different kind of knowledge which is passed on to you actually by the universe, because you start understanding things in a very deeper level. But when you're going through this process, if you actually talk to a very practice or a person who has deeper knowledge, or practices or gone through a lot of things in a completely different higher level, then that person might be able to guide you. But also mostly everything is also in the Tripitaka text, in the Pali canon. It is being written down by arahats, by enlightened people. Talks of Buddha is also it is the talks of Buddha that they have heard and they have experienced, that they have written down as this ancient text. So if you refer to the text, it's also there in the text. So whatever you're experiencing, you can double check with this, whether it's right. And most of the time what happens is you go through something, you understand something, and if you want the guidance, when you refer to it, if you're in the right path, this matches, this equals, it matches. That's how you know. Yeah? But there's an inner wisdom which speaks to you as well after a point.
There was something you just said about writing a book. What was the book? It was some kind of foliage.
My book?
No, I mean a book. You were just saying there was a book, a text like
the Pali text.
Yeah.
The Pali text is something like this. It's the spoken words of Lord Buddha, been written down by arahats, which is the enlightened, and kept on for all this generation, passed on. Now it's written down in Pali. So when you're actually meditating, what you should do is, if you could, when you're meditating, you have these different experiences, whatever, and the inner wisdom builds in. The inner wisdom is actually from the universe. With this inner wisdom, you develop yourself, and with the experiences that you're actually having, if you refer to the books, it usually equals. You could know that you're in the right path. Or you could speak to someone who is quite, has gone very deep into this. You need to speak to the right people, of course, definitely. But yes, you can get the advice from there, or you can refer to the Pali text of the Tripitaka, which also gives a lot of information. Actually, it has all the information to be enlightened, seriously.
And what's it called?
Tripitaka, it's the Pali canon.
It's like
Yeah, it's also there. It's also there in the library. I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in Pali to Sinhalese and Pali to English, and yeah, you get it in different languages.
TRIB.
Sorry.
How do you spell it?
3 P T K Ya, Tripitakaya.
Yeah, okay.
Pali Text Society is the correct version in the English translation. Pali Text Society.
Okay. Is that like the
Yeah, remember yesterday or day before I was reading to you from a book? Maybe I'll do that in the afternoon. I'll take a small one of the small verse and read it to you.
Is that like the Bhagavad Gita? Is it like
Bhagavad Gita?
Is it like that?
It is Bhagavad Gita is a different thing, which is in the Hindu religion, but it is something like that, But in Buddhism, we have this.
So it's the Buddhist equivalent.
Can't call it the equivalent, but
Like, would it be like the Bible of the Buddhists?
it is.
Buddhist Bible.
Yes. So questions, please. So how would you choose to meditate, practice meditation? How would you choose to do that personally? What would you like to do
What do you mean?
going forward?
From here?
Yeah? What would make you comfortable and what could you do?
I mean, but I already practice this early in the morning, which is for me the best time to do it. I feel just the time that I take is still too little, and it would be better to do it for a longer time. Usually do like 15 minutes, and it's definitely not enough time, because it's usually the time that I need to calm myself.
Yeah. And how about just a suggestion? Usually your week.
Yeah.
Basically, from Monday to Sunday. And if you could just go and think, what are the usual days you get tied up a lot? Avoid those days, and you feel that, Thursday may be a good day, a better day. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday might be a better day. Like that, you choose maybe out of the week, you choose 2 days to do longer sessions. Because that would be the start of things. Usually I say for people who like to meditate but still don't meditate, only just go for retreat sessions somewhere down the line, and then they got caught up with work and everything so much, then forget about it. Then I tell them, okay, every day maybe at least 10 to 15 minutes. But then when you do get into the 10 to 15 minutes daily, then if you want to expand this meditation, if you tell yourself I'm going to do it every day, maybe it's a bit difficult. So then what you do is you choose maybe 2 days of the week that you're comfortable in, that you take maybe a longer time to not only meditate, maybe read something or listen to something, and then meditate on that as well. Okay? Because if you want some sort of stable practice into this, if you want to achieve something out of this, then you need to work on how we are going to do it. Okay? So, any plans?
Well, I feel definitely a difference when I don't meditate. I mean, if I skip a day, it feels like you move backwards, and it takes a while to get back into it. But I try to do it every day. It depends on how much time I have, but I find that in the morning, I try to do about a half an hour, and just do that on a regular basis.
This raises another very important point. In Samatha, what happens is another thing. We can do some of the meditations continuously for a very long time, years maybe. And then suddenly, if we don't meditate for some time, then that goes down. The ability to meditate goes down a little bit after some time. Say, for an example, you were very, very sick and you couldn't meditate at all for about 3 months, 4 months. Then the ability to concentrate and be aware of the things goes down as well. That's why we say practice samatha and slowly try to switch to vipassana, because vipassana is a technique of meditation. Even in the bed, when so many things are going around you, you can still analyze things. That way you are able to do both. In the long run, of course.
But if you skip 1 or 2 days, will that...
No. That's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you skip it for a couple of months, then...
Yeah, then it's a harder process to get into it. You can, of course, but it's harder. That's what happens.
Then it's possible to get back into the swing of things.
Yes.
Just takes time.
Yes. And then again we are deviated from the path and we go and do a lot of other things. And then years after that, again we realize that we need to do this. Maybe this was the, right thing to do. And then again we come in, then back to step 1. You start back. So, because this is what we have been doing continuously. So why not find a path to think about it seriously? Yeah. Yes.
So I think it's the perfect time for me to start, because I don't have such a how do you say this? A time plan, which is like
Yeah.
really, I don't have like so much to do right now.
Yeah.
So I think I could start to take maybe 2 or 3 days in the week and do the longer sessions. Because here, so the 3 days I meditated, I felt an improvement every day. And yeah, I don't know, I want to go on with this, because I really feel that it's kind of changing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's good. And yeah, that's the best approach. Now that you have the time, when you make use of it like this, then even when you're busy, you will know that, when you do this, it really adds something completely different. Just because we are busy, we can't stop eating. Just because we are busy, we don't, stop sleeping completely or taking a wash or bath or do whatever we have to do. Meditation becomes something like that. It becomes a part of your life. Actually, you need to make it a part of your life. Then it becomes a part of your daily routine that you do it. And then you start to analyze things, have a better perception in different things. From white to black and white to color. Okay?
So the idea of expansion.
Yeah, true. And anything else that you would like to ask? What time is it? Close to 10. Or like to share?
But the first thing would always be to stay with samatha.
Samatha, definitely.
And if I feel comfortable in doing this, then I can go on with...
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can switch from samatha to vipassana and vipassana to samatha in the same meditation, in the same 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour. You switch. That's what we did actually.
Yeah.
Samatha and vipassana and samatha, like that.
Okay.
I think last evening I did complete samatha. Didn't do any vipassana because we were having some people there. I can't remember, it was yesterday evening or day before evening when we had the crowd here. It was a complete samatha that I did, because otherwise they wouldn't understand what this eye burning and what thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
I burning that's vipassana.
Yeah, that's vipassana. That's connected with vipassana.
Okay.
But you can take it for samatha also, just listening to the words. Then it would be samatha. When it's vipassana, it's more concentrated into it. That's the difference.
Okay.
Okay.
So Vipassana is more concentrated than...
Yes, analytical side of it. Analytical side of the meditation is Vipassana.
It's more concentrated than Samatha.
Yes.
Okay.
No, Samatha helps you to build concentration. Vipassana helps you to build insights.
Okay.
Okay? So maybe in October, I would talk on unseen reality of freedom. Maybe that would be the topic. And as our good friend pointed out, with acceptance and how we don't and do accept things, and I'll cover those topics as well. Unseen reality of freedom. We'll see.
Okay, October.
Yeah, October.
Okay.
And then in December, yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking, so Buddhism is entirely pro-free will.
Yeah.
What is it?
Buddhism is pro-free will.
Pro-free.
Free will.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. It is free will.
Yes, true.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the philosophical question of how free is our actual will.
Mm.
It's relative, isn't it?
Well, it is. And I guess it's highly debated. Are we free to choose? Are we really free? How free are we? I mean, it's a philosophical debate since I don't know how many thousand years. Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Buddhism is on the side of pro-free will.
It's like, how free do you want to be?
Yeah.
It's more of this question of how free do you really want to be in life?
Is it something that we decide, or is it something that society decides?
Well, it's a long discussion.
There's even this psychological thing where they say, like, well, if you actually get people in an MRI, you see a pattern arise before the thought is actually there. So the whole thing about saying physically, you think you're free to decide, but the
actuality
decision is already made before you can speak it out.
Oh.
So, and that's the whole thing. It was this entire debate about, are we actually free to choose? Or are we just monkeys who are kind of following,
because
whatever arises in our
exactly. That
body.
is one part of it,
Yeah.
and the other unseen part of it is karma.
Yeah.
Well,
Because this concept of karma, because many of us really don't understand the concept of karma plays a huge part as well. But it is not